One day your son, or the young men watching you, will copy not your speeches, but your rituals. If they see a man who dresses with intention before he takes on the day, they'll learn duty has a uniform. If they see perpetual comfort, they'll learn excellence is optional. The hard clothes principle is less about style and more about inheritance. What are you passing on? Here is an uncomfortable truth. Clothes are not neutral. What you put on your body is not just fabric. It is a script. It trains your posture, shapes your attention, and whispers quiet permissions to your mind all day long. We like to think we are free from it, that a sweatshirt is just a shirt, that joggers are just pants. But clothing carries signals. It has weight, structure, and friction. And those small, constant cues either pull us toward readiness or pull us toward ease. Comfort is not the enemy, but comfort makes a poor master. It promises less friction and delivers less focus. When a man's life drifts toward constant comfort, his edge dulls, his presence softens, his days slide. What begins as a harmless preference becomes a quiet erosion of discipline, and with it, leadership.
I call this the hard clothes principle. Put simply, if you want to sharpen your mind, add friction to your body. Choose the garments that support duty. Choose the weight and structure that teach you to stand, not sink. It is not about fashion, it is about function. It is about being the kind of man who lives on purpose.
Clothes are a daily script. Soft clothes invite ease. Hard clothes invite duty. Comfort is a tool, not a master.
I learned this the hard way. Years ago, when my work shifted to being mostly at home, I did what many men did. I reached for soft clothes every morning. Stretch pants, hoodie, socks, coffee, laptop. The morning felt relaxed. No commute, no office doors to walk through, no eyes on me. And quietly, things changed. It did not happen all at once. It happened in small ways. My back rounded at the desk. Emails waited a little longer. The call I should have made at 9 slipped to noon, and then to tomorrow. If the day needed me to be sharp, I was often a step dull. Around lunchtime, I would find myself still in what I had slept in. No clear line drawn between who I was at rest and who I needed to be at work.
One morning I looked up and realized I had spent the first 4 hours drifting. It was not a crisis, but it was a trend. I felt it in my mind. Less push, less presence. So I ran a small experiment. I put on boots, jeans with a belt and a collared shirt before I touched my laptop. I didn't leave the house. I just dressed as if someone trustworthy would meet me at the door and ask, "Are you ready?" The difference was immediate. The boots made me stand up straighter at the counter. The belt reminded me that a waistband can do more than hang. The collar sat on my neck like a gentle hand directing me forward. Nothing magical happened, but everything was better. I returned calls on time. I spoke more clearly. I finished earlier and felt capable, not scattered. I kept experimenting. On days I wore soft clothes, my day softened with them. On days I wore hard clothes, garments with structure, edges, and weight, my mind respected a line. I moved with purpose. The right attire is not vanity, it is stewardship.
Modern culture is built for comfort. We are sold convenience at every turn. On-demand entertainment, delivery meals, remote everything. The entire economy of attention is engineered to remove friction. And a man with no friction is a man with little fight. Clothing is part of that ecosystem. Decades ago, we dressed for roles. There were thresholds in the day. You got ready, you went to your work, you entered your church, you returned home. Each threshold had a garment, a ritual, a standard. Those outer actions reinforced inner commitments. But as everything became more casual, the thresholds erased. The same clothes we sleep in carried us through breakfast, calls, errands, and worship. Nothing is sacred if nothing is set apart. And a life without edges becomes a life without distinctions.
This is not about nostalgia. It is about honesty. When we wear clothes that ask nothing of us, we eventually become men who ask little of ourselves. That is the quiet cost of comfort. Soft, stretchy, and forgiving has its place in recovery and rest. But when every day becomes a prolonged warm-up, we stop stepping onto the field. Our posture tells the truth about our purpose. Our presence communicates our level of responsibility to the people who count on us. Men today are not failing for lack of potential. Many are failing for lack of deliberate friction. If your world is padded, your muscles, the physical ones and the moral ones, atrophy. Athleisure is not a sin, but it can be a strategy, and not a good one, when its purpose is to make everything feel easy. Ease is not neutral. Ease is shaping you. The culture also tells us that clothing is a matter of self-expression. Wear what you feel. There's a deeper question: how do you want to feel? And what will reliably draw you toward that state? Readiness is not a feeling that visits us. Readiness is trained, and one humble daily way to train it is to treat your clothing as equipment for your duty.
Casual culture erased thresholds. When everything is comfortable, nothing is set apart. Add deliberate friction to reclaim readiness.
Let's make this concrete. The hard clothes principle is simple. Choose attire that supports your assignment. Use clothing as daily, voluntary resistance, a small weight that builds large focus. Here is a framework to apply it. Define hard and soft for your context. Hard clothes are structured. They have edges and weight. They hold a shape. Examples: collared shirts, trousers or sturdy denim with a belt, boots or leather shoes, a watch, a jacket that doesn't slouch. These items create gentle resistance. They require you to put them on with intention. They remind your body to stand and move with care. Soft clothes are forgiving. Elastic waistbands, hoodies, sweats, slides, sock feet, gym shorts. These have their place: training, recovery, family movie night. But they should be tools for specific moments, not the default uniform of a whole day. Establish your uniform.
Create 2 to 3 reliable formulas for the roles you perform. For work, collared shirt, dark denim or chinos, belt, boots, or leather sneakers with structure. Watch. For home leadership, a simple polo or Henley. Keep it simple. Fewer decisions, more consistency. Your uniform is not about impressing anyone. It is about showing up ready. If you leave the house for anything beyond a 5-minute errand, you wear hard shoes and a collar or a structured shirt. This respects the public square and reminds you that you represent something larger than yourself. The completion rule. You may shift into softer clothes after your day's core responsibilities are complete, not before. Your wardrobe becomes a clock you wear.
Build checkpoints in your environment. Prep your next day's uniform the night before. Hang it where you can see it. Shine your boots. Put the belt through the loops. Make it easy to choose hard. Keep a set of structured clothes ready near your workspace for days when you feel sluggish. If the afternoon slumps, change your clothes and recover the edge. Create a clear place for lounge clothes that you only reach for after the completion rule is satisfied. Practice weekly voluntary resistance. Choose one iron day each week. On that day, add an extra layer of structure, perhaps a sport coat at your desk, even at home, a pair of boots instead of soft shoes. Carry a notebook instead of your phone into meetings. It's a small, symbolic increase in weight to strengthen the muscle of discipline. In the evening, when you feel like drifting, choose to stand for a phone call or walk while you plan the next day.
Pair movement with structured clothing to honor the moment. After training, shower and dress in hard clothes. Do not spend your working hours in gym gear. Training has its uniform. Work has its uniform. Church has its uniform. These distinctions anchor the day. On your day of rest, dress with reverence, not stiffness, but respect. Let that day look and feel different. It is a quiet statement about what matters.
Adapt to your field and your budget. You do not need to spend much. A small wardrobe of durable, well cared for items will outperform a large closet of stretchy impulse buys. Learn basic maintenance. Polish shoes, mend seams, wash and press shirts. The care is part of the character. Measure the impact.
If you have children, let them see what ready looks like. Let them remember the sound of your boots when there was work to be done and the way you dressed for worship even when no one was watching. If you are a husband, give your wife the quiet gift of your presence, signaled by your readiness. If you are a son or a friend, be the man who shows up prepared. I do my best work comfortable. Many men say this. The question is, which comfort? Comfort of softness or comfort of readiness? There is a deeper comfort that comes from structure, like a well-built chair compared to a beanbag. The first supports your entire frame so your mind can focus. The second collapses under you and asks nothing. Try both for a month. Notice which one builds better days. I don't want to be performative. Dressing for duty is not performative when it aligns with your responsibilities. It becomes performative when it is about approval. Intentional clothing is not a stage costume. It is armor for service. Keep your motives clean. Choose pieces that work. Let your results, not your outfit, do the talking.
Build a simple uniform, set non-negotiable windows, and use clothing as voluntary resistance. Structure first, comfort after duty.
In Scripture, clothing is never only fabric. It is a symbol and a sign. After the fall, God clothed Adam and Eve with garments of skin, a covering that spoke of dignity restored, even in a broken world. The priests wore specific garments for service, not to show off, but to honor the weight of what they were doing. Clothing marked the threshold between ordinary moments and sacred duties. There is a phrase that appears more than once in the Bible: gird up your loins. In ancient terms, it meant to gather your long garments, tie them, and prepare to move. It was the language of readiness. Today, we do not gird tunics, but we can still prepare ourselves for work, for worship, for leadership. We can still set apart garments that remind us who we are and what we owe. The Apostle Paul writes, "I discipline my body and keep it under control, lest after preaching to others, I myself should be disqualified." Discipline is not harshness, it is an order. Hebrews says that all discipline seems painful rather than pleasant, but later it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it. There is a peaceful fruit on the other side of choosing structure. Clothing can be one small part of that training, an external cue to an internal reality.
Jesus also teaches, one who is faithful in very little is also faithful in much. If we cannot rule a closet, how will we rule a household? If we cannot be trusted with shoes and a shirt, how will we be trusted with sons, a marriage, and a company? This is not about legalism, it is about stewardship. When a man chooses garments that honor his duties, he is practicing faithfulness in the little things. And those little things done every day become a legacy. Even the armor of God imagery in Ephesians speaks to this: belt, breastplate, shoes made ready by the gospel of peace. It is not accidental that these are tangible items we wear. They point to a deeper reality. We are called to be ready, to stand, and to move with purpose. Let your outer pieces reflect your inner posture. Let what you wear preach quietly to your mind. You are here to serve, to protect, to lead.
Scripture frames clothing as readiness and reverence. Be faithful in small things. Let your garments support your calling.
This is not a crusade against sweatpants. It is an invitation to alignment. To look at your closet and ask, what is this training me to be? To notice the line between useful comfort and constant softness. To choose daily a little friction in the service of a larger focus. Your family's sense of safety and calm is tied to your steadiness. Your work carries other people. Your community needs men whose presence says, without noise or performance, I am ready. I am responsible. That presence is not loud. It is not theatrical. It is built from small, repeatable acts that stack over years. Hard clothes are one of those acts. Humble, practical, repeatable. So open your closet tonight. Pull 3 items that will become your morning uniform. Put them where you cannot miss them. Shine the shoes you have. Thread the belt. Green. Get dressed for duty. Walk through your home like a man on assignment. Then go do the
next right thing. See what happens over a month of that. Watch your posture change. Watch your voice steady. Watch your patience extend. Not because of fabric alone, but because you are choosing to live with edges. The hard clothes principle is not the whole story, but it is a strong first step. It is a way of saying to yourself and to God, I intend to be faithful today. That intention, worn on your body, will work its way into your mind and out through your hands. Then, when the day is finished and your work is done, you can soften. Comfort has its place in celebration, in recovery, in the rest that reminds us we are not machines. The man who has carried weight on purpose can rest with a clear conscience.
If you are ready to build this into your life, I put together a 30-day discipline rebuild you will find in the description. Inside it, you will find a hard close protocol with routines, checklists, and a simple tracking sheet. You will also find practical guides on morning structure, attention management, and stewardship of your environment. It is straightforward, not flashy, just a set of tools to help you reclaim your edge. Start with the clothes on your back. Choose structure. Choose readiness. Choose to be the man whose life has edges because his purpose is clear. Then let the rest of your day prove it.